Hi, my name is Emma, and this is EFL USA, Practical English for Life in America. And today, I want you to close your eyes for 1 second. Just 1 second. Imagine this. You are at work. It is 9 in the morning. Your manager walks up to your desk, and she asks you one simple question. Can you give me a status update on the Peterson project? That's it. That's the whole question. Could you answer her right now in 3 seconds without translating in your head first? Without saying, for 5 long seconds while she waits? Be honest with yourself. Because today, that exact situation, that exact fear is what we are going to fix together in the next few minutes. If you are watching this for the first time, welcome. You do not need to have seen any other video from this channel. This is a complete lesson standing on its own. You can start right here, right now, and it will still work for you. But if you want more lessons like this one, the full playlist is waiting for you in the pinned comment below this video. Let me tell you who I am. My name is Emma. I am a teacher here at EFL USA, and my only goal, my only job, is to help you speak English in the real situations of your real life in America. Not English for a classroom. Not English for a textbook. English for your job. English for your doctor's visit. English for the phone call you are scared to make. Real English for real survival in a real country. Today's lesson is about work, about job interviews, about status updates, about the moment your manager asks you a hard question and you need to answer with confidence, even if your English is not perfect yet, even if you are still learning. Because here's something I want you to understand right now. At the very beginning of this video, you do not need perfect English to sound confident. You need the right sentences, said the right way. That is what today is about. Before we begin, if this lesson helps you, please subscribe to this channel and tap the bell. It helps more beginners like you find these lessons. Now, let's begin. I want to tell you about a woman. Her name is Daniela. She is 31 years old. She moved to the United States from Colombia 2 years ago. She is smart. She is hardworking. She has a college degree in accounting. But when she got her first job here in America, working at a small logistics company in Houston, Texas, she had one big problem. Her English was good enough to read emails, good enough to understand meetings. But when someone asked her a direct question, a fast question, a pressure question, her mind went blank. Not because she didn't know the words, but because in that moment, fear took the words away from her. Let me take you into one specific morning. It was a Tuesday. Daniela had been working on a shipment report for 3 days. It was almost finished, but not completely finished. There were still 2 more numbers she needed to confirm with the warehouse team. At 9:15 in the morning, her manager, a man named Mr. Coleman, walked past her desk. He stopped. He looked at her, and he asked, "Daniela, did you finish the shipment report?" In that second, that one single second, Daniela's heart began to beat faster. Not finish. Not yet. How do I say this without sounding lazy? without sounding like I am behind, without sounding unprofessional. Her mind raced through first, translating, searching, panicking, and what came out of her mouth was this, almost. I think, maybe today or tomorrow. Mr. Coleman's face changed, just slightly, a small frown. Not angry, but confused. Uncertain, he said, "Okay, let me know," and walked away. And Daniela sat there, her face hot with embarrassment, thinking the same thought she thought almost every single day. I knew the answer. I just didn't know how to say it. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever known exactly what you wanted to say in your own language, but when you opened your mouth in English, something different, something weaker, something less confident came out instead? If yes, I want you to say it out loud right now, wherever you are. Say, "Yes, that happens to me too." Just say it. Because today, we are going to give Daniela and you the exact words to fix this. That evening, Daniela was still thinking about the moment at her desk. She felt frustrated because in Spanish, she is confident. In Spanish, she speaks clearly, directly, professionally. She has given presentations. She has led meetings. But in English, that confident version of herself disappeared, replaced by a smaller, quieter, more uncertain version. She decided that night that she would learn. Not new grammar, not new complicated words, but simple, strong, ready-to-use English sentences for exactly these moments. Status updates. Questions from her manager. Job interview questions. The real language of American workplaces. So today, that is exactly what we are going to build together. Real sentences. Real situations. The kind of English that helps you when someone asks you something unexpected. And you need an answer right now, not after you translate it slowly in your head. Let's start with our first set of words and phrases. These are words that you will hear constantly in an American workplace, especially when someone is checking on your work or asking about a job you are applying for. The first word is status. Status. Repeat after me. Status. Status simply means the current situation of something. Is it finished? Is it in progress? Is it not started yet? When your manager asks, "What's the status of the report?" they are asking, "Where are you right now with this task?" Here is an example sentence. The status of the project is almost complete. Another example. Can you give me a status update? Now you try. Say one sentence using the word status. The next phrase is in progress. In progress. Repeat after me. In progress. This means something has started, but it is not finished yet. It is a very useful phrase because it tells your manager clearly and professionally, "I am working on it, but I am not done." Example, the report is still in progress. Another example, my application for the apartment is in progress. Now you try. Say a sentence with in progress. The next word is deadline. Deadline. Repeat after me. Deadline. A deadline is the last date or the last time something must be finished. In American workplaces, deadlines are extremely important, and knowing how to talk about them clearly will make you sound professional immediately. Example. The deadline for this report is Friday. Another example. I need to know the deadline before I start. Now you try. Say your own sentence with deadline. The next phrase is, I'll have it done by. I'll have it done by. Repeat after me. I'll have it done by. This is one of the most powerful phrases you will learn today because it replaces a weak, uncertain phrase, I'll try, with a strong commitment. When you say, I'll have it done by 5 o'clock, you sound like someone who is in control, even if you are still working hard to finish. Example. I'll have it done by tomorrow morning. Another example. I'll have the numbers done by noon. Now you try. Say your own sentence. The next phrase is qualifications. Qualifications. Repeat after me. Qualifications. This word is especially important for job interviews. Qualifications means the skills, the experience, and the education that make you right for a job. Example. My qualifications include 5 years of accounting experience. Another example. Can you tell me about your qualifications? Now you try. Say one sentence with qualifications. And the final phrase for this section is follow up. Up. Follow up. Repeat after me. Follow up. To follow up means to check on something again after some time, or to send another message after your first one. In interviews and at work, following up shows that you are professional and interested. Example. I will follow up with you by email. Another example. She followed up on the project 3 days later. Now you try. Say your own sentence with follow up. Good. 6 new words and phrases. Status. In progress. Deadline. I'll have it done by. Qualifications. And follow up. Now, let's put them together the way Daniela needed to put them together at her desk that Tuesday morning. Let's build a real conversation. The exact conversation Daniela wished she could have had. Imagine it is a new Tuesday morning. Mr. Coleman walks up to Daniela's desk again. This time, Daniela is ready. He asks, Daniela, what's the status of the shipment report? And this time, Daniela looks up, takes one calm breath, and says clearly, It's in progress. I just need 2 numbers from the warehouse team, and I'll have it done by 3 o'clock today. Listen to that again. It's in progress. I just need 2 numbers from the warehouse team, and I'll have it done by 3 o'clock today. Notice something important here. Daniela did not lie. She did not pretend the report was finished. She told truth clearly, with specific details, and a specific time. That is real confidence, not perfection. Clarity. Mr. Coleman smiles slightly and says, Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. And he walks away, satisfied, trusting Daniela completely. Same situation. Same unfinished report. Completely different outcome. Because of different words. Said with a clear, calm voice. Now, let's shadow that full conversation together. I will say Mr. Coleman's part, and then you will say Daniela's part out loud in your own voice, like you are really standing at your own desk. Ready? Mr. Coleman. Daniela, what's the status of the shipment report? Now you answer like it's your own report, your own name, your own voice. It's in progress. I just need 2 numbers from the warehouse team and I'll have it done by 3 o'clock today. Good. Let's do it one more time, a little faster this time, with more confidence in your voice.
Mr. Coleman.
What's the status of the shipment report? Your answer. It's in progress. I just need 2 numbers, and I'll have it done by 3 o'clock today. Excellent. Feel that? That is not just English. That is professional English, delivered under real pressure, and you just did it. Now let's move to another moment in Daniela's week. A moment that many of you watching this video are living right now, or will live very soon. A job interview. 3 months after the shipment report morning, Daniela decided she wanted a better position. Not just a better title, but a better salary too. One that would help her support her 2 children better. She applied for an accounting coordinator role at a bigger company downtown. And 2 weeks later, she got the email she had been hoping for, an invitation for an interview. Daniela was excited, but also terrified. Interviews are one of the most stressful English situations for anyone. Learning the language, because you cannot prepare for every single question. The interviewer can ask you almost anything, and you must respond immediately, clearly, and confidently, with a stranger judging every single word you say. This is exactly the kind of real, risky situation that most English lessons never prepare you for. But today, we will. Let's learn the second group of essential words and phrases. The ones you need specifically for a job interview. The first phrase is, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Repeat after me. Tell me about yourself. This is almost always the very first question in an American job interview. It sounds simple, but many people freeze when they hear it because it feels so open, so big. The secret is this: you do not need to tell your whole life story. You need 3 things: your background, your experience, and why you are interested in this job. Example answer. I have 5 years of experience in accounting. I recently moved to Houston, and I'm very interested in growing my career here. Now you try. Say a short version of your own answer using your real background. The next phrase is strengths. Strengths. Repeat after me. Strengths. Strengths means the things you are good at, your best skills. Interviewers almost always ask about your strengths. Example. One of my strengths is attention to detail. Another example. My biggest strength is staying calm under pressure. Now you try. Say your own sentence about your strengths. The next phrase is salary expectations. Salary expectations. Repeat after me. Salary expectations. This means how much money you hope or expect to earn in the job. This question makes many people nervous because they are afraid to say the wrong number. but there is a safe, professional way to answer. Example: my salary expectations are between $50,000 and $55,000 based on my experience. Another safe example, if you are not sure, I'm open to discussing salary based on the full compensation package. Now you try. Practice saying a number clearly without hesitating. The next phrase is availability. Availability. Repeat after me. Availability. This means when you are able to start working or which days and hours you can work. Example: my availability is Monday through Friday, starting immediately. Another example: what is the availability for this position? Is it full-time or part-time? Now you try. Say your own sentence about availability. And finally, reference. Reference. Repeat after me. Reference. A reference is a person, usually a former boss or coworker, who can tell the new company that you are a good, reliable worker. Example: I can provide a reference from my previous manager. Another example: do you need references before or after the interview? Now you try one more time with your own sentence. Perfect. 5 interview phrases. Tell me about yourself, strengths, salary expectations, availability, and reference. Now let's return to Daniela's interview, because this is where the real risk, the real pressure moment happens. Daniela sat across from the hiring manager, a woman named Ms. Rodriguez. The interview was going well. Daniela had answered, "Tell me about yourself," clearly, using exactly the structure we just practiced. She had talked about her strengths with confidence. But then, Miss Rodriguez leaned forward and asked a question Daniela had not prepared for. "I see there's a 2-year gap in your work history before you moved here. Can you explain that?" Daniela's stomach dropped. This was the real, risky, unprepared moment. The moment English lessons on other channels never teach you, because they are too afraid to show real difficulty, real fear, real silence. In that gap, Daniela had been caring for her sick mother back in Colombia before she passed away. It was personal. It was emotional. And Daniela did not know, in that second, how much to say, or how to say it without her voice shaking, without losing her professionalism in front of a stranger. For 3 long seconds, Daniela said nothing. Ms. Rodriguez waited patiently, but Daniela could feel the silence growing heavier, could feel her confidence slipping away, exactly like it did that Tuesday morning with the shipment report. But this time, because of everything she had practiced, Daniela caught herself. She took one slow breath, the way she had practiced, and she said, "During that time, I was caring for a family member who was very ill. It was a difficult period, but I stayed connected to my professional skills, and I'm now fully ready to focus completely on this role." Listen to that again. During that time, I was caring for a family member who was very ill. It was a difficult period, but I stayed connected to my professional skills, and I'm now fully ready to focus completely on this role. Notice what Daniela did. She did not over-explain. She did not apologize excessively. She gave a short, honest, respectful answer, and then she moved the conversation forward toward her readiness for the job. Ms. Rodriguez nodded gently and said, "I'm sorry to hear that, and thank you for sharing. Let's continue." The interview moved on, smoothly, professionally, with respect on both sides. This is what real confidence looks like, my friend. It is not about having zero fear. Daniela was still afraid in that moment. Her heart was still beating fast. But she had the right words, practiced and ready, waiting for her exactly when she needed them. That is what we are building for you today. Not the disappearance of fear, but the tools to speak clearly, even when fear is present. Let's practice a version of this together, using a safer, more general topic so you can build this same skill for yourself. I will ask you a hard, personal style interview question, and I want you to answer using a short, honest, professional structure out loud right now. Here is the question. Why did you leave your previous job? Take one breath and answer using this structure. First, a short, honest reason. Second, a positive, forward-looking sentence. For example, I left my previous job. I left my previous job because I was looking for more growth opportunities, and I'm excited about the chance to build new skills here. Now you try using your own real reason. Say it out loud, clearly, calmly. Good. Let's move into our next section because now it's time to speed up. We've learned the words. We've practiced a real conversation and a real risky interview moment. Now it's time to train your reflexes. To make these responses automatic, fast, and natural, without you having to think about grammar at all. Here are 5 sentence patterns that you will use again and again in almost every American workplace and interview situation. I will give you the pattern. Then, several real examples, one after another, quickly. Your job is to repeat each one immediately without stopping to translate. The first pattern is I need. This pattern is used when you require something before you can finish a task, or when you are asking for help clearly and directly. New Nen, listen and repeat. I need 2 more days to finish this. I need 2 more days to finish this. Again. I need approval from my manager first. I need approval from my manager first. Again. I need the updated numbers from accounting. I need the updated numbers from accounting. One more. I need a few minutes to review this. I need a few minutes to review this. Notice how direct this pattern is. It does not hide behind maybe or possibly. It states clearly what you require. The second pattern is can I? Can I? This is used for polite requests at work or in an interview. Listen and repeat. Can I ask a question about the schedule? Can I ask a question about the schedule? Again. Can I get back to you by tomorrow? Can I get back to you by tomorrow? Again. Can I take a short break? Can I take a short break? One more. Can I send you the report by email instead? Can I send you the report by email instead? This pattern keeps you polite, but never weak. You are still asking clearly for what you need. The third pattern is, where is? Where is? Very simple, very useful, especially in a new workplace where you do not know your way around yet. Listen and repeat. Where is the break room? Where is the break room? Again. Where is the supply closet? Where is the supply closet? Again. Where is Mr. Coleman's office? Where is Mr. Coleman's office? One more. Where is the sign-in sheet? Where is the sign-in sheet? The fourth pattern is, how much does? How much does? This is useful for many situations, including benefits, parking, insurance, and other workplace costs. Listen and repeat. How much does the parking cost per month? How much does the parking cost per month? Again. How much does the health insurance cost? How much does the health insurance cost? Again. How much does overtime pay add per hour? How much does overtime pay add per hour? And the fifth pattern is, I'll have it done by the same powerful commitment pattern we practiced earlier with Daniela, but now let's build speed and variety with it. Listen and repeat. I'll have it done by end of day. I'll have it done by end of day. Again. I'll have it done by Friday morning. I'll have it done by Friday morning. Again. I'll have it done before the meeting. I'll have it done before the meeting. One more. I'll have it done as soon as I get the numbers. I'll have it done as soon as I get the numbers. 5 patterns. Dozens of real sentences. This is muscle memory building, my friend. Training your mouth to say these structures automatically, the same way Daniela's mouth eventually learned to say, "It's in progress," without any hesitation at all. Now, let's go back to Daniela's story, because there is one more moment I want to share with you, the moment that changed everything for her. 3 weeks after that interview, Daniela got the job. The email arrived on a Thursday afternoon, and she read it 3 times before she believed it was real. "We are pleased to offer you the position of accounting coordinator." She cried a little, right there at her kitchen table, with her 2 children doing homework beside her, not fully understanding why their mother was crying and smiling at the same time. But Daniela's story does not end with getting the job, because 2 weeks into her new role, she faced her biggest test yet. Bigger than the shipment report, bigger than the interview gap question. It was her first team meeting in front of 12 people, most of them native English speakers, most of them with years more experience in America than her. The department director, a tall, serious man named Mr. Whitfield, went around the room, asking each person to give a 30-second update on their current projects. Daniela watched as person after person spoke smoothly, confidently, quickly, using exactly the kind of language we have been practicing today. And then it was her turn. 12 pairs of eyes turned toward her, the new person. The one everyone was quietly wondering about. Can she really handle this role? Daniela felt her old fear rising again. The same fears from the shipment report morning, the same fear from the interview gap question. Her mind whispered the old doubt. You don't belong here. Your English isn't good enough for this room. But this time, Daniela did something different. She remembered every single practice session, every repeated sentence, every say it again, faster, stronger moment. And she opened her mouth and she said this: I'm currently reviewing the Q3 vendor contracts. It's in progress, and I'll have my initial analysis done by Wednesday. I do have one question about the budget numbers, which I'll follow up on with finance today. Listen to that again, slowly. I'm currently reviewing the Q3 vendor contracts. It's in progress, and I'll have my initial analysis done by Wednesday. I do have one question about the budget numbers, which I'll follow up on with finance today. 4 sentences. Clear, specific, professional. Using status, in progress, I'll have it done by, and follow up. Every single phrase from today's lesson, used naturally, automatically, without her even thinking about grammar in that moment. Mr. Whitfield nodded, wrote something on his notepad, and said, Good. Thank you, Daniela. Keep me posted on that budget question. And he moved to the next person. That was it. No drama, no special attention, no mistakes noticed. Just normal, professional, respected. And for Daniela, that ordinary, unremarkable moment was the proof that everything had changed. She was not the woman freezing at her desk anymore. She was not the woman going silent during a hard interview question anymore. She was a professional speaking clearly. In a room full of people, in her second language, under real pressure, and nobody even noticed anything unusual because she sounded exactly like she belonged there. Because she did belong there. I want you to sit with that feeling for a moment. Imagine yourself in that meeting room. Imagine 12 pairs of eyes turning to you, and instead of fear rising in your chest, you feel calm. Because you have the words ready, waiting, automatic. That feeling, that is not a fantasy. That is exactly what we are building for you today. Sentence by sentence, practice round by practice round. Now, let's return to our shadowing practice because it's time to build speed and confidence with an entirely new, faster type of drill. This is what I call the confidence round. I will give you a sentence. We say it together 3 times. The first time, clearly. The second time, faster, with no pause before the first word. The third time, like you truly own it, like it is simply a normal, automatic fact about you, not something you are proving to anyone. Let's begin. Sentence 1. I'm on top of it. Say it clearly. I'm on top of it. Again, faster, no gap. I'm on top of it. One more time, like you own it, calm and certain. I'm on top of it. Excellent. Sentence 2. I've got this handled. Clearly, I've got this handled. Faster. I've got this handled. Own it. I've got this handled. Sentence 3. Let me look into that. Clearly, let me look into that. Faster, let me look into that. Own it. Let me look into that. Sentence 4. I'll circle back with an answer. Clearly, I'll circle back with an answer. Faster, I'll circle back with an answer. Own it. I'll circle back with an answer. Sentence 5. That's a great question. Let me think. Clearly, that's a great question. Let me think. Faster. That's a great question. Let me think. Own it. That's a great question. Let me think. Sentence 6. I'm confident I can manage this. Clearly, I'm confident I can manage this. Faster. I'm confident I can manage this. Own it. I'm confident I can manage this. Sentence 7. Give me until end of day. Clearly. Give me until end of day. Faster. Give me until end of day. Own it. Give me until end of day. Sentence 8. I'll make sure it gets done. Clearly. I'll make sure it gets done. Faster. I'll make sure it gets done. Own it. I'll make sure it gets done. Notice, my friend, that these are not complicated sentences. They are not full of difficult vocabulary. They are short. They are direct. And that is exactly the point. Confidence in English does not come from big words. It comes from clean, clear, short, direct sentences said without unnecessary hesitation. That was true for the confident version of every sentence. Daniela learned to say, and it is true for you too, right now, in your own life. Let's do one more round. And this time, I want you to imagine your own real situation, your own job, your own manager, your own meeting, your own interview coming up soon. Say these next sentences as if they are about your real life, right now. My status update is ready. Say it. Again, faster. One more time. Own it like it's simply true. I can start immediately. Say it. Faster. Own it. I have 5 years of experience in this field. Say it with your real number, your real field, if you can. Faster. Own it. I'll have the answer for you by tomorrow. Say it. Faster. Own it. Feel that shift happening in your own chest, in your own voice. That small, growing sense of, I can actually say this, and it sounds real. It sounds like me. That is not an accident. That is exactly what these sentences are built to do. To move from your head into your mouth, into your real spoken voice, until they belong to you completely. Now, let's build one more important skill. Before we finish today's lesson, a skill for handling an unexpected, harder question the same way Daniela had to handle Ms. Rodriguez's question about her work history gap. Because sometimes in a job interview or a work meeting, someone will ask you something you did not prepare for, and you need a calm way to buy yourself a few seconds of thinking time without going completely silent. Here are 3 useful sentences for exactly that moment. The first, that's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. Repeat after me. That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. This gives you 2 or 3 extra seconds, and it sounds thoughtful, not weak. The second. Can you clarify what you mean by that? Repeat after me. Can you clarify what you mean by that? This is perfect if you did not fully understand the question. It is completely normal and professional to ask for clarification, even for native English speakers. The third, I want to make sure I answer this well. Give me a moment. Repeat after me. I want to make sure I answer this well. Give me a moment. This one is especially powerful because it turns a pause, something that can feel like weakness, into something that sounds like careful, professional thinking. Let's practice all three together, back to back, like a real toolkit you now carry with you into any hard conversation. That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. Can you clarify what you mean by that? I want to make sure I answer this well. Give me a moment. One more time, a little faster. That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. Can you clarify what you mean by that? I want to make sure I answer this well. Give me a moment. You now have real tools, not just for status updates and job interviews, but for any unexpected moment where fear might try to take your words away from you. The way it once tried to take Daniela's words away from her, that Tuesday morning at her desk. Let's do one more full shadowing round of everything we've learned today, combining the workplace phrases and the interview phrases into a few new, fresh example sentences before we move toward the final section of this lesson. Listen and repeat. The status of my application is still in progress. The status of my application is still in progress. Listen and repeat. I'll have my references ready by Monday. I'll have my references ready by Monday. Listen and repeat. My availability is flexible, and I can start as soon as needed. My availability is flexible, and I can start as soon as needed. Listen and repeat. One of my strengths is staying calm under pressure, even during a tight deadline. One of my strengths is staying calm under pressure, even during a tight deadline. Listen and repeat. I'll follow up with an email after our call today. I'll follow up with an email after our call today. Beautiful. You are combining vocabulary and sentence patterns naturally now, exactly the way a confident English speaker does, without stopping to translate word by word in your head. Before we finish today's lesson, I want to give you one more real moment from Daniela's life, because there is a difference between learning English for a test and learning English for your actual survival, your actual dignity, your actual future in this country. And this last moment shows exactly why that difference matters so much. 6 months after that team meeting, where Daniela spoke clearly in front of 12 people, something happened that she never expected. Mr. Whitfield, the department director, called her into his office on a quiet Thursday afternoon. Daniela's heart jumped, the old fear trying to rise again for just 1 second. Was she in trouble? Had she made a mistake? Was something wrong? But Mr. Whitfield smiled as she sat down, and he said something that changed everything. Daniela, I want to talk to you about a promotion. He explained that the company was creating a new position, Senior Accounting Coordinator. Someone who would not only manage numbers, but also train new employees, lead small meetings, and communicate directly with vendors and clients over the phone and in person. It was a job that required exactly the skills Daniela had been quietly building this entire time, sentence by sentence, practice round by practice round, ever since that difficult morning with the shipment report. But then Mr. Whitfield asked her a direct question, right there in his office. This role involves a lot of client communication, sometimes under pressure, sometimes with difficult questions. How do you feel about that? And this was the real test. Not a scripted interview question she had practiced 100 times, but a real, unplanned, in-the-moment question from a man she respected about her own confidence in herself. Daniela paused for just 1 second. Not a panicked pause, but a calm one, the kind we just practiced together a few minutes ago. And then she said, "I've grown a lot in my communication skills over the past year. I used to feel nervous speaking up in meetings, but now I stay calm under pressure, and I always follow up to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. I'd welcome the challenge." Listen to that again. I've grown a lot in my communication skills over the past year. I used to feel nervous speaking up in meetings, but now I stay calm under pressure, and I always follow up to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. I'd welcome the challenge. Notice something beautiful in that answer. Daniela did not hide her past struggle. She did not pretend she had always been confident. She told the truth. I used to feel nervous. And then she showed her growth, clearly, specifically, professionally. That honesty, combined with clear, confident language, is exactly what real professional English sounds like. Not perfect, not robotic. Real, honest, and clear. Mr. Whitfield smiled and said, "That's exactly the answer I was hoping to hear." 2 weeks later, Daniela had the new title, a raise that meant real, tangible change for her family, and something even more valuable than the money. The quiet, settled knowledge inside her own chest that she belonged in that building, in that role, in that language. Completely. I want you to hear something important right now, directly from me to you before we finish today. Everything Daniela learned did not happen in one day. It happened through small, repeated moments, exactly like the practice we just did together. Every repeat after me. Every say it again, faster. Every uncomfortable, strange feeling of saying a new sentence out loud for the first time. Those small moments, added together, are exactly what built her confidence. Sentence by sentence, until one day, without her even noticing the exact moment it happened, English stopped feeling like a wall in front of her and started feeling like simply her voice, her own voice, just in a different language. That is not just Daniela's story. That can be your story too. Not someday, far in the future. Starting today, with the sentences you already practiced in this video. Let's do one final, complete review together, combining everything from today's lesson into one smooth, connected practice. The words. Then the interview phrases, the fast patterns, and the confidence sentences. So they settle deeply into your memory before you go. Listen and repeat. What's the status of the report? It's in process, and I'll have it done by 3 o'clock. Listen and repeat. Can you tell me about your qualifications? I have 5 years of experience, and one of my strengths is staying calm under pressure. Listen and repeat. What are your salary expectations? I'm open to discussing salary based on the full package. Listen and repeat. What's your availability? I'm available full-time, starting immediately. Listen and repeat. I need 2 more days to finish this. Listen and repeat. Can I get back to you by tomorrow? Listen and repeat. I'll have it done before the meeting. Listen and repeat. That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. Listen and repeat. I'll follow up with an email after our call. One more time. Faster, with real confidence in your voice, like Daniela in that final meeting with Mr. Whitfield. It's in progress. I'll have it done by 3. I have 5 years of experience. I'm available immediately. I'll follow up today. I've got this handled. Feel that. That is not a performance. That is not you pretending to be someone else. That is your own real voice, speaking clearly. In English, about your own real life, your own real work, your own real future here in America. I want to leave you with one more thought before we end today's lesson. Confidence in a new language is not the disappearance of fear. Daniela was still nervous in Mr. Whitfield's office. She was still nervous in that team meeting. She was still nervous in the interview with Ms. Rodriguez. Fear does not simply vanish one day. What changes is this. You build enough ready sentences, enough practiced, that even when the fear is there, sitting quietly in your chest, your mouth already knows what to say. Your voice does not wait for the fear to leave. It speaks anyway, calmly, clearly, professionally, right alongside the fear, not after it disappears. That is what you practice today. Status updates, job interview questions, fast reflex patterns, calm ways to handle a hard, unexpected question, real sentences for a real American workplace spoken by a real version of you. Not a perfect version, but a confident one. If today's lesson helped you, I want you to do something for me. Go to the comments below this video and write, I'm ready for my next status update. Not just great video. I want to see those specific words because writing them is the first small step toward truly believing them. I read every single comment, and I want to see you claim this confidence for yourself in writing. Write now. And if you want to keep building this skill, the full playlist for Practical English for Life in America is waiting for you in the pinned comment below. More real situations, more real vocabulary, more real practice for the real life you are building here. Next time, we are going to step into a completely different, equally important situation. The phone call. Because talking on the phone without seeing the other person's face, without, again and again, without any body language to help you, is one of the hardest English situations of all. We will build exactly the sentences you need for that moment too, so that the next time your phone rings with an unknown, number, or you need to call to confirm an appointment, you will already be ready. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, you already have more English inside you than you think. You just needed the right sentences to bring it out. See you in the next lesson.